My 16th birthday was a day etched in amber, encased in the golden hues of familial warmth and buoyed by the scent of mirth in the air. It was a homely event nestled in the heart of Lyon, where the Martin family resided, a charming house, gently humming with age, yet brimming with vivacity and love. My parents, John and Eugene, were the life of the party, celebrating my transition into adulthood with playful banter and laughter that punctuated the casual chatter that lingered in the air. My younger sister, Mina, was my faithful partner in crime, always ready to jump into any playful fiasco within a heartbeat. Between the delightful splashes of reds, blues, and yellows of the balloons, and the melody of laughter and shared stories, I looked around, realizing how lucky I was to call these people my family. The whole household was radiating joy, and there I was in its epicenter, feeling both thrilled and apprehensive about turning a year older, knowing it came with an armful of responsibilities and expectations to navigate through. The evening was lit with fairy lights, casting a warm glow onto the evening's whispered conversations, hearty laughs, and gentle camaraderie, weaving golden threads into the rich tapestry of my formative years. I remember blowing out my candles, the soft gleam flickering in everyone's eyes, each one holding a silent wish. A new chapter was beginning for me. My path to adulthood officially kicked off. The Lyon chapter of my life was just a start, but its warm embrace kept me hopeful and eager to embrace the journey that lay ahead. Little did I know then that the journey would take me to places beyond the realms of my imagination, shaping me into a dancer, a performer, and an idol. Yet that birthday evening continued in blissful ignorance, leaving me cocooned in the woven quilt of family love, ready to embark on the road least traveled with a heart full of fervor and dreams in my eyes. I still remember the summer of 2017 when I received my high school acceptance letter. It was a parcel filled with my dreams and aspirations, painted in hues of anticipation and promising a journey full of learning, with a subtle dash of uncertainty. I recall sitting in the living room, caressing the letter delicately in my hands, admiring the beautiful glossy paper, touched by the slight whiff of ink, a testament to my hard work and dedication. The feeling was incredible, an amalgamation of utter joy and a dash of anxiety, as I could almost foresee the challenges I'd face in the coming years. Yet there was an irresistible pull that I felt towards unraveling the mysteries that lay in wait in high school. Like a moth drawn towards a flame, the thrill of venturing into the unknown was enticing in itself. And so, faced with the prospect of studying subjects that held a piece of my heart, I selected dance and performing arts. It felt like I was about to set foot on a ship that would become my haven for the next few years. Choosing dance was like choosing to speak my truth, where words fail and where my emotions could paint a story with rhythm and movement. And performing arts, it was stepping into an enchanting space where I could paint vivid pictures of life through acting. While I had been shaping my dance skills from as young as I could remember, including it in my academic pursuit felt like breathing life into a cherished painting. It was a silent vow made to myself to further dive into the realm of arts, offering a deep commitment and promising countless hours of rigorous practice. I remember my dad hovering over my shoulder, his arms crossed as he looked into the distance, but I knew he was genuinely proud and supportive. My mother's eyes mirrored my excitement, a reminder of how she found solace in music and dance. It is strange how dramatically everything changes with a simple decision, but it also felt like everything was falling into place beautifully. The rhythm of following my heart was loud and clear as I held that letter, hinting at the challenges that lay ahead, yet making my goal more tangible than ever before. I did feel nudges of fear and doubt at times, but they were seemingly minor notes in the vast symphony of eagerness and delight that orchestrated within me. That acceptance letter was not just paper, it was the ticket to an exhilarating roller coaster ride, a ride that I was ready to embark on with my heart filled with nothing but optimism and determination. The warm nostalgia of Christmas in Lyon 2017 still warms my heart as I recall the day I received a guitar as a present from my family. It was a celebration not just of the holiday, but of the love and camaraderie that bound us tightly, a prototype of happy times collected and cherished. As I unraveled the strings of the guitar, I couldn't help but feel like it was synonymous with unfolding a part of myself, a part that was waiting to explore the magic of music. The slim neck of the guitar felt comfortably right in my hands, its glossy brown body reflecting the twinkling Christmas lights adorned around the house, as if it were smiling back at me. A mutual understanding establishing between the instrument and me. That Christmas, the Martins burst into elated melodies as my father led us in a medley of carols, his baritone voice echoing through the house. It was sheer joy strumming the guitar gently, harmonizing my chords with my father's melodies, my mother's soft humming, and Mina's high-pitched yet adorable attempts at singing. I remember my fingertips throbbing with a dull pain initially, but the spark in my heart was too fiery to succumb to such trivial discomforts. I began to perceive the abundant language of music that communicates without words, connecting hearts and soothing souls. Trying out numerous chords and pitches, experimenting and amalgamating them into a harmony that sounded just right, it was like weaving a tapestry that's vivid, musical, and so profoundly me. Each strum I made was like knitting my feelings into a melodic pattern, a pattern that resonated with my thrill, my aspirations, and my ardent love for music. I spent countless moments in front of my bedroom window, letting the inspiring serenity of the winter landscape seep into my creative process. The tranquil, snowy nights mirrored my determination, peaceful yet ardent, enhancing the magical union of my thoughts and rhythm. That guitar was not just a Christmas gift, but a treasured solicitation into the realms of music. The inviting sound of the strings, the resonating echoes, the stirring of emotions within me. It was all a testament of my admiration for music. Every time I held my guitar, it felt as if I was holding on to my dreams, converting potential artistry into delightful picturesque melodies. And each moment spent playing, practicing, and performing were stepping stones guiding me onto a path that led to a future where my passion and profession would beautifully coalesce. In the spring of 2018, my life took another significant turn, which led me onto the path of performing arts. School was buzzing with excitement as our drama department started preparing for the annual show. The whole campus clamored about the upcoming auditions. Their curiosity was infectious, their excitement palpable, and before I knew it, I found myself auditioning for a small part in the production. The day that I first stepped onto the stage, with its bright lights staring at me and the shadows of the audience before me, it felt like stepping into another realm altogether. It was no longer the school auditorium, but a world of our own creation, painted with our imagination, and we were the living, breathing inhabitants of that realm. There was a flicker of fear, a bead of cold sweat trickling down my neck, but the rush of adrenaline silenced it, leaving only goosebumps and an unquenchable desire. My role was a small but sweet one, a jovial baker's daughter, filling the stage with her vibrant energy and laughter, truly a reflection of my free-spirited nature. Every rehearsal felt like a thrilling adventure, an exploration of characters and emotions. We lived the lives of our characters, we laughed with them, we wept with them, and every time the curtains fell, it felt like leaving behind a little part of ourselves on that stage. As the rehearsals gave way to the final performance, the tension in the air was electrifying, heightened by the soft murmurs of the excited audience. Heart pounding, stomach fluttering with 1,000 butterflies, I stepped onto the stage and the world faded away. I still remember how the spotlights shone, creating a halo around me, as my lines left my lips in a comforting rhythm. The applause at the curtain call echoed not just in the auditorium but within every cell of mine, filling me with overwhelming euphoria. It was a feeling I'd never known before, a feeling I've spent every moment since trying to recreate. That spring, I didn't just dip my toes but plunged headfirst into the ocean of performing arts. I knew then, with a surprising amount of clarity, that this was my path, my encore to music. The stage was my arena, and the light was my crown. Trudging into the forthcoming uncertainties, I recall spending the majority of the summer of 2019 preparing for the inevitable move to Seoul. Everything around me felt abuzz with the summer's heat and the buoyancy of the coming changes, making the weeks both fast-paced and memorable. I vividly remember the intricate process of packing my belongings, each item meticulously chosen for its utility and the piece of home it represented. As I carefully stored my vinyl collection, an old postcard from my grandmother, a worn-out pair of ballet slippers, the entire process felt like I was delicately tucking away the chapters of my life into these boxes. What initially seemed like a daunting task had gradually become a comforting act, as I bade farewell to my childhood room and embarked on preparing for my new life. a life on my own in a city full of unfamiliar faces and places. Yet, amidst the sorrow and uncertainty, there was also anticipation and a gleam of exhilaration. I was not merely moving houses, but rather, I was attesting to my commitment to my dreams, validating the countless hours I had spent honing my craft and displaying a dedication and resolve that would later become my backbone as a performing artist. Holding events, small and big, became a theme of that last month at home. Each gathering revolved around capturing snapshots of my past, moments crystallized in time that would help nourish me in times of homesickness and self-doubt. On one such occasion, a farewell bonanza of sorts was organized with my closest friends. We ate, we laughed, we cried, we reminisced about our shared years, echoing promises to stay in touch, and patching our parting sadness with the prospect of exciting reunions in the future. Nonetheless, despite the many cheerful gatherings and goodbye soirees, the paradoxical solitude of uprooting oneself was not lost on me. As excited as I was about my move to Seoul, I was also aware that this marked the end of my life in Lyon as I knew it. Even as I braced for the whirlwind journey ahead, a part of me was left behind, cherishing memories of my cobblestone hometown, tinged in the soft hues of orange sunsets and perfumed by freshly baked bread. These pieces of home would become fragments of a resilient shield, fending off my fears and doubts in the challenging times waiting for me in Seoul. August of 2019 came with a string of soirees, get-togethers, and heartfelt gatherings. There was one particular gathering that still holds a special place in my heart, the farewell party with my closest friends. It was an ordinary yet extraordinary evening, filled with laughter, tears, music, everything that made us, us. Underneath the fleeting summer sky, we reminisced about the good times and the not-so-good times, each memory prompting laughter or a content sigh, and at times teasing tears from the corners of our eyes. We danced to the melodies of our shared past, our bodies swaying in perfect sync, as if trying to hold back the ticking hands of time. As we huddled into the night, we promised to keep this bond alive, regardless of the miles between us, echoing the hallway of promises, clutching onto the threads of our intricate friendship. It was in those heartfelt goodbyes and warm embraces I found something beautiful, the certainty of an uncertain future, the promise of reunion, and the resilience of young friendships. The synergy that filled those moments, the unabashed laughter, the unspoken goodbyes, have left an indelible mark on my heart, continuing to echo during my quieter moments in Seoul. Yet, amidst the cheer and merriment, there was an undertone of solitude, the bittersweet au revoir to a life that once was. Saying goodbye to Lyon was not mere relocation, it was a farewell to my past, an acknowledgement of a phase drawn to closure. In the chaotic beauty of those days, a part of me felt the weight of the upcoming journey, while the other held on to the memories of home. Even as my heart welled with excitement, there was always that nostalgic longing for the casual familiarity of my cobblestone hometown, permeated with the fragrance of freshly baked bread, or painted in surreal hues of sunset. These microscopic snapshots of my past, stored in the corners of my heart, would later become my refuge in the strenuous journey that lay ahead. While Seoul promised a new chapter, Lyon would always remain the prologue to my story, a sweet echo of familiarity amidst the whirlwind of unknowns in the future. As summer began to recede and their faces began to fade from my everyday view, my room suddenly felt expansive, marked by the silence of my impending loneliness as I began packing for my new life. Placing my life into boxes seemed like an unending task, each object holding a memory or an emotion, each one bidding its own silent farewell. My guitar, the very same one that was my very first Christmas present years ago, went into its bulky case, filled as much with the melody of my past as with the promise of a tune from my future. Neatly folded clothes smacked of my mother's meticulous care, the soft perfume of her affection lingering on the muslin and silk. The little trinket locker held several small yet significant tokens of my growing years, moments crystallized into objects, which, as they clattered together, seemed to echo a symphony of my bygone years. While packing, I discovered things about my past I had forgotten, the mundane moments shaping me, etching themselves slowly into my being. Each packed box was a seed sown into the rich soil of my past, hoping to sprout into the promise of tomorrow. The more I packed, the more I realized that the process was less about boxing away a life that once was, and more about cherishing and preserving bits of me that molded me into the person I was preparing to become. As I ventured forth into an unknown journey, I carried with me a story sealed in cardboard boxes, a whisper of my past, a melody strummed on a guitar, and threads of friendships that extended beyond the confines of geographical borders. My farewell to Lyon was not a departure. It was, in truth, the amalgamation of a past that will forever be cradled safely within my heart.